Start the intro. How do I do this? This is why editing is so important. And I've been drinking, and I don't normally do videos when I've been drinking because F-bombs. I keep them clean. All right. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Will Ryder, back at you with another video, and today I'm building a computer. I know that it's been a while since I've made anything on this channel, and it's because I've been super busy. So I hope you enjoy this. I'd like to take this moment to introduce you to neighbor Ben. And much like myself, we're very new at this concept. We have a basic idea of what the components are, but as far as installing and creating this system, we're both pretty new at it. Like, what's this, Ben?
That is your fan that goes to your CPU.
All right, and it does what?
Well, it cools your CPU.
All right, there we go.
In theory, right?
Ben's not dumb. He knows what he's talking about. So let's get started. I think the first thing we'll do is talk about the components we actually have. The first thing here is the case. You're gonna have to move that over. Pan over, however, you can loosen the thing up.
All right, there we go.
All right, so this is a Thermaltake Core V1. It is a mini ITX case, and the reason I picked this is because it's a small form factor. The other computer, you know what? I should grab the other computer. Like most pre-built systems for desktops, it's quite large. The inside is definitely ugly with the ketchup and mustard cables, and cord management was kind of gross. But it had a solid cover on the front. You couldn't really see it, just shine some blue lights out of it. So we're replacing that with this, which is going to sit on top of the desk instead of underneath the desk. It's going to pick up less dust, especially because the front cover is filtered. It's got a nice giant fan on it. It's quite modular. All these, we're going to take these off because we're going to build this soon anyways. All the panels come off, and they could be put in any sort of configuration that you decide, depending on where you want to see the top, the side, wherever you want to look, see it. If you had like a nice GPU, you might want it on this side where it'll shine and be the star of the show. Even the bottom comes off. It's got a nice filter for the power supply unit, where it picks up the air there. And these are all things that the other case didn't have. There's no air filtration whatsoever. So it was once a month I had to disassemble that computer and clean it out. So hopefully this helps, especially being up on the desk instead of on the floor. Did I show the fan? I did? All right. So should be pretty good airflow going through this. All right, for the power supply unit, I'll move over here. We have a Corsair SF450, which is a SFX power supply unit. Very small, fully modular, so we'll only use the cords that we need. And there's two reasons I got this. For one, its size, nice and small, stays out of the way. And two, I decided that after I found out that this case actually takes a full ATX power supply unit, that it would be nice to have a smaller supply in there because it'll help with cord management, which I'm not very good at, so that'll definitely help. To get that to work, I had to get a Silverstone SFX to ATX adapter, so that'll go in there to make sure this fits in there correctly. All right, for the motherboard, we have a Asus Republic of Gamers Strix X470Z Mini ITX, which is for the Ryzen platform. Which
Asus.
Asus? Do you say Asus?
Asus.
I say Asus. He says Asus. Tomato, tomato. We're from different parts of the country, so that makes sense. What I like about this motherboard is obviously the small form factor. It fits in the case that I picked out. Has plenty of power with the 6 VRMs, a nice heatsink for that. It's got the M2 or M.2 slot for this SSD hard drive that we have with the heatsink. It's got Wi-Fi already integrated into it. Plenty of I/O. The audio, USB 3.0, 2.0. If you were going to use one of the integrated graphic CPUs, you have that available on here as well. The position of the PSU input was important to me. It only has one PCI slot, and we're only using one graphics card, so it's not a big deal. 2 slots of DDR4 or the DIMM RAM. It's got everything I wanted, and it has some RBG too. These are all lights down here, and I believe the video that I seen of the review of this lights up as well. One of the issues I had with this was the chassis fan only had one output, so I got a splitter. So not only can I run the case fan on the front, but I got 2
Rear fans.
what are these called? These are Noctua NF R8s, which are the same exact thing as the ugly tan and brown ones. These come with less accessories and they're cheaper. I didn't need any accessories they came with though. So it'll be good for these 2 80 miller fans to be in the back here. Nice exhaust fans. I'm not sure if it needs it, but I think it'll help having the air come through here, across the cooler, and through the back there.
So, well, let me ask you this though. So, when you're using your CPU cooler with fan, did that have to change anything with the mounting on your CPU?
Yeah, you gotta be careful with these because this is the stock fan that came with this processor.
Okay.
But the one issue you want to think about when you're picking out a cooler is, one, making sure it fits on there. It's the right compatibility. Actually, it goes like that. With the regular ATX boards, it could be in the way of the RAM. It doesn't get in the way of this RAM, but this is low profile RAM. You can use regular size RAM, but just in case, I got the low profile RAM. I looked to make sure earlier that it would actually fit, and it does fit, because there's like bigger, like the Noctua coolers that they have for this are very wide,
right,
where there might be 1 or 2 channels. If you can't use that first channel, you can't use that third channel either of RAM.
Correct.
If you have the 4 slots. So that's an excellent question. For the processor, we have a Ryzen 7 2700X. I think it's 8 core, 16 thread. I think that's what this one is. This is from the computer upstairs. This is what started the whole computer building thing, because I got this for the original PC because the other processor that was in it was a Ryzen 5 1600X. Still overclockable, but definitely not as powerful as this. And I wanted the kids to be able to have a nice gaming computer that they could play their Roblox and Minecraft on. And then this processor didn't work, and because of the return policy, from where I got it, they'd only give me a replacement. So I had to use this as something, so that's what made me build the machine upstairs. Now, the Ryzen 3rd gen came out, the 3000. I have the Ryzen 9 3900X that I just installed today, so this is what came out of that. Now this is going in there, and it'll be plenty of powerful for what the kids are going to be doing on that computer. All right, what other components are we missing? The memory, we didn't talk about the memory. We did shortly, but this is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16. So it's 2 sticks, 18, or 2 sticks of 8, running at 3200
Megahertz.
is it? Yeah, megahertz. There we go. This is where we got Ben here. All right, so for graphics, this came out of the old system. It is a Radeon RX 570, which isn't the top line of the RX series that came out during this generation. Obviously, Radeon's got newer generations that are out now, the X5700 or whatever it is. But this is plenty powerful for what the kids will be doing. We also have a bunch of cords, supply unit. A lot of these cords I don't even know what to do, but we'll figure it out when we get there.
Wi-Fi.
As far as hard drives, this one has some issues. There's some partitions that are corrupt on it, but I'm going to get that fixed, so there'll be nearly a gig on that one. This is from the old system. This has the operating system on it and all the everything else. I just took it straight out of that computer. We're going to plug it into this, and this is 240 gig. And then we have the M.2 NVMe Samsung. It's 256 gig. I had done clone this already, or this to this, so this can be the boot system. I tried to boot it on it once already. I don't know if it's going to work or not, so when we go through into BIOS, we're going to boot off of this and make sure this isn't messed up. This came out of my Alienware R15 that I don't use anymore. And then we got some other stuff sitting around, the Wi-Fi. The thumb drive has the new BIOS for this that we're going to boot off of to make sure it has the most updated BIOS. The I/O shield, which I'm not good at installing, so we'll have Ben do that.
It's easy to cut your finger on that.
Is it?
Yes. At least every one that I've ever done.
That is kind of sharp.
It is sharp.
Am I missing anything here?
I do not believe so.
All right. Ready to build?
We're ready to build.
All right, let's do this. All right, so what we're going to do now is do the basic motherboard components, and then we're going to mount the motherboard into the case. So what did I say was first? M.2, right?
Right.
Oh, I didn't talk about the tools we're going to be using. Mini screwdriver, regular screwdriver. If you have a fancier case that doesn't have thumb screws, or regular Phillips head screwdriver for the screws, some of them use Allen keys because they think they're fancy, but they're just a pain in the butt. So if I remember correctly, we take this off and there will be a thermal pad up on the underside that we have to take off that transfers the heat from the thing with the deal to the heat spreader, because those do get warm. Yeah. So we're going to peel this off.
What component is that again?
This is the heat spreader.
Oh.
And this little pad is not conductive, transfers heat well.
Okay.
So it can go to this, you can feel how heavy that is. As far as aluminum goes, that
is really heavy,
stouty,
actually.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, and I think it definitely does have some RBG in the thing here because it's got little headers on it.
Okay.
Where's that go to? Yeah, it does have a little header there. So we'll put this in there. And you ever installed one of these before?
No, I have not.
All right, I just did my first one today. It's spring loaded.
Okay.
Oh, we got to take the screw out. It actually came with the screw, so we won't need this standoff or that screw. Something that Ben mentioned earlier was the fact that neither of us had anti-static protection. It's a risk I'm willing to take. The humidity in the house is currently at 32%.
Yeah.
And
Which is not typical of...
we're not on carpet, so we're going to be okay. It's a little more humid than it normally is here in Vegas, but still manageable. Let me make sure I don't mess those headers up. Is it going to line up by itself? Oh, that's sticky. All right, that long one went there.
Is that a component that comes with a smaller type of motherboard? Because I've never actually... I mean, I've rebuilt my computer 3 or 4 times now this year, and also with my son's computer, because he's the computer guy, right? But I've never seen a component like that. What's that?
Yeah, even this old pre-built system has two separate M.2 slots. One of them is utilized for the Wi-Fi, and one of them could be utilized for a hard drive like this. I don't like how those don't sit flush. So that's one of my complaints I'm going to send to Asus. How do you say? Asus.
Asus.
All right. Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's a newer technology because the R15 Alienware laptop I have is I think from 2015, 2016. So
Well, that's what
I
I'm
know
saying,
it's
though.
newer, but it's not
I was
brand
wondering
new.
if it was just made for compact systems.
No, there's like I think my system has two slots on it upstairs. This one has two, but they have different size ones too. This I think this is the longest one, and also this one has one on the back.
Interesting.
So you could put two. You can go. I mean, you can get these in pretty good sizes. 2 terabyte, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I
really
just
fast.
installed a 4 terabyte hard drive in my computer.
So you don't even need any sort of, 2.5 or 3.5 inch drive. You can go straight off these M.2 slot SSDs.
Okay.
What did I say was next? RAM? All right, so installing RAM.
It's hard to get it wrong.
Yeah, the slot looks like it's almost center, but it's not the center. You can see here that it only lines up one way, and you just kind of start it on one end, and then you push it down so this little thing pops up. That's seated. I almost put that one backwards. You want to do one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right. And now the CPU.
You have to put the CPU on now before you can put your fan on, your cooling fan.
All right, like I was saying, I know the orientation that the Ryzen's have on here, but it's got the little gold thing, and it's got a triangle right here to let you know what the orientation is. You just want to make sure
Intels are similar. So does that Ryzen actually have pins, or is it inverted like the Intels are now too? So they're not.
No.
Oh, yeah, they are. It looks like that has pins.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
pins. It's very sensitive.
But the Intel is not like that anymore.
It's
Smooth.
like
It's inverted. The pins come
female.
Yep.
Yeah, these are male pins. And I could just tell by the way that feels that is inserted correctly. It doesn't come out. And now we're going to put the cooler on. All right, so this already has thermal paste applied to it. I can see actually a couple bare spots in there. You want to make sure you have good connectivity, and because the thermal paste is non-conductive, we are going to put some extra on there. I think I'm actually going to clean all this off.
You don't want to use the original thermal paste. You want to use.
No, I know this is good. I don't know what thermal paste AMD uses. It's a nice solid copper heatsink with heat tubes, but it doesn't matter if the thermal compound isn't up to par. I'm going to rotate this. That's a little more than we need.
So,
It's okay.
so what's the technical amount that you're using for your?
It's that's a biological pea size.
Pea, like in a green pea that you consume,
Yeah,
right? So
I think it's going to be plenty.
I think you need alcohol for that.
Oh yeah, this is way too thin, I think. I don't know if that would have done a good job. And this stuff is, it's like GAA grease. Almost like peanut butter. All right, got that cleaned off. We'll clean it off real good with some alcohol per Ben's suggestion. I didn't think of this earlier.
Obviously you did. You had the alcohol sitting right there.
Nice and clean. And this has been cleaned earlier with the rubbing alcohol. I called Ben earlier to ask him what to do, and he told me rubbing alcohol.
He lies a lot.
All right. This is the orientation of the fan. And like I said earlier to you, this one has got a clip in first. And then we'll do the front one. Oh, I missed it. And then again, there we go. We're on there. And turn the cam right there.
You want to turn that so they can see what it looks like?
So it's a cammed lever, so it applies the pressure once you turn it over and squeezes it all together. You can see the backside there. So now I think we are ready to put this in the case. Oh, since we're here, we'll plug the header in. Oh, I got it upside down. I want this the other way. Unless this fits really well. Because that'll help with
Then
cable
you accidentally
management.
meant to do it?
CPU fan. It doesn't matter. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. If I had this rotated the other way, we have all that extra cable that we have to worry about.
Right.
And I know that it does have some extra cables to run a system that isn't, well, I guess not compatible, but needs other inputs. So it's got these little inputs here. But I know that it doesn't need that
So
because...
you're like piggybacking off of it?
Yeah, it piggybacks off of it. No. It sends power to it when that motherboard doesn't support this type of fan.
Okay.
So the motherboard is, or this is
So it's like
piggybacking off the...
auxiliary powered.
Yeah. We won't need to do that. This will work fine because this is the way AMD has configured it with their specific boards.
Okay.
Put it in the case.
I believe so.
All right.
Do you have the screws to do that?
We gotta find some case screws. All right. Something I forgot was the I/O shield that needs to go into the case first, and Ben's gonna go ahead and install that. And
So installing it, because we're installing the motherboard in this way, we want to make sure that the I/O shield actually goes
Right.
in the exact same way. So being able to do
it's
that,
better to go in from the back or the front.
well, normally
I think it's the back, just
this
like you're
is the
doing
back.
it. Yeah.
So, but it's
I
not.
don't know. The computer I built upstairs, I totally failed the I/O shield and bent it, and it still doesn't have one on it.
So you,
They're $9 on eBay, and I still haven't bought one. It's been almost a year.
yeah. Well, I told you, like, these I/O shields. Okay, that one's in there good. The only issue I have with I/O shields is that they hurt. If you, in order to get them off and get them back on, they tend to cut. So you just have to be real careful when you're doing it.
Should we be wearing gloves?
No. That would just make you cut yourself if you were wearing.
We're gonna put the motherboard in there, see how she fits. Make sure it didn't get ripped off.
There you go.
Beautiful.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks really good. All right, let's do this.
How about this one?
Yeah, we're gonna put that in afterwards.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Which way does this go now?
Cool. It has to go. Yeah, there you go.
It only goes one way. So I got these 4 screws right here.
All right.
Let's make sure this. Oh. Look
Are you
how
not
it
lined
does-
up?
It doesn't. Oh, it's
Yeah, it
because it's a padded I/O shield. We
Right.
gotta kind of push
Yeah,
it
yeah,
in.
you
So
gotta push
I'll
it
hold
in.
it in. And you start these 2 back screws.
Let up on it a little bit. There you go.
Do you know what the I/O shield does?
No.
Me
Dust.
neither. Well, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Maybe because it's metal, maybe it makes sure there aren't any like unclean signals going in.
I don't know.
Kind of like the Faraday thing that we're talking about. It says shield, so it's got to shield it from something. Maybe dust.
So it looks like it needs to come
Okay.
that way.
There we go.
Yeah, I always thought it was just a dust management type thing, but it very well might have.
They could do it out of plastic,
They could do it out of
which is
plastic,
non-conductive, and I think would be safer.
but No, I don't think it.
So I
would
think
be
it's
safer.
a
I think it would be
purpose
more
for it being
static.
metal.
I
Oh
think it
yeah,
was-
yeah. Maybe the static the plastic causes. So that's mounted.
We could probably Google it though. Just saying.
It's worth a Google.
Yep.
I think we just turn it on now?
No, I think we
Okay.
need a lot more.
A little more, a little more. All right, so that last part that there was no audio is me and Ben trying to figure out these header cables that go to the power button, reset switch, and the LEDs. It took a little bit. I didn't have the mic on, so you didn't hear any of the audio. Me and him swearing. I don't think we swear actually.
Not much, anyways.
Yeah, we keep pretty good language. I'm a Christian and he's an airman, so our language is pretty good.
So you were saying that. I forgot. But anyways, this is a hard drive.
All right.
Do you know where that plugs into?
So Ben
Anyway,
just mounted the hard drive to this cage, and something when we were talking about when we were trying to figure this out was that building a PC is a lot like Legos. Pretty much everything only fits in one way. If we could do it, anybody could do it, right? All right, so we got the hard drive built in the cage. We got most of the wires attached. We got the 24-pin header connected, the SATA cable connector headed for the hard drive, USB 3 point whatever it is for the front audio cable. That'll be tucked over here so you can't see it. And the 8-pin connector over here for the motherboard as well. I think we're going to mount this. Are we ready to mount this? Do we need to run more wires behind it?
Well, where's the cable that you're going to run to that?
It's already ran underneath.
So then don't you have to
We're
flip that?
going to flip it.
Don't you have to flip that?
Oh. Yeah, you mounted it in the right. You mounted it the right way. Good job. And it's going to help tuck this this 8-pin
Down.
wire thing. Yeah, I thought the cutting mats would help things not slip.
It's because you got these connectors on top of it.
Get that lined up right. That clicks in somewhere else, I think, and I'm not hitting it. Oh, right there.
Okay.
Drive that thumb screw in. That's going to hold our hard drive in, and this other hard drive is going to go
You're
right
not
next
put
to
that
it.
one in there yet, right?
No.
Okay.
We'll work on that later. Like I said, this hard drive had some partition issues, so we're not going to install that yet. I'm going to hook it up to my other machine. Oh, you know what? I just thought about the other wires. We got to tug them behind here, but it's going to fit just fine. We're going to put our Noctua fans in there.
Yeah, but those will just, you'll be able to just put those in there.
Yeah.
The fans just
It'll
connect there,
fit.
right?
It'll fit just fine. Go over the top, bottom.
We talking about for your cable management?
Oh, these got to
You should be
face.
able
Which
to-
way did these go? Where did we face
About this.
these?
So they actually face with the
Because my case fan upstairs has the backside facing
Covered up,
out.
okay,
Like
makes
that.
sense. So you can't see.
We'll let the computer figure it out.
Yeah.
If we can't feel exhaust air and then there's a huge amount of positive pressure in here,
We'll just flip it.
yeah,
Flip it.
I could flip it. Because the case is so small and modular, it'll be no problem. I think we're gonna put that one there. Run that cable down there.
Where is your case instructions?
I don't care about those. Instructions.
I don't need no
Where are
instructions.
those? All right, so we got the screws for this right here. Install this one, and then we'll install.
I guess my point was
one.
is that for these, you should be able to just wrap these, but maybe not, huh?
Well, that's why there's such a big area down below that we can't see.
Okay.
I'm not worried about the cable management of this. We'll pull it all out. And again, like the, what was the other thing we installed? With the screws like this. Opposite corners to get it centered.
Are you talking about the shield you put on there?
I don't
For the
remember what it
power
was.
supply? Yeah.
Yeah,
Shield for
yeah,
the
that's
power
what it was. All right, so we're gonna get this installed, get the other one installed, and then we'll figure out what thing we're gonna install next. Probably the splitter for the wires. All right, so I got ready to mount the graphics card, but we got all the wiring figured out, mounted in, and then beautiful wire management below.
That'll look better when we're done, I
Yeah,
promise.
so this is the only thing I'm worried
That's
about.
the
is
only thing
wire.
I'm concerned about too. I want to see
I think
how
if we
that's
keep this
actually
over,
gonna
so
sit.
we're gonna mount the graphics card and see how our audio header. Oh yeah, it's gonna have to go up underneath. Hold on, bring that back up.
Okay.
All right,
All the
right
way
there,
out?
right there.
Okay.
You're good. You can go down. Bring those tongues down in the front.
That should be it, right? Oh,
No, these gotta go. You gotta tilt it.
oh, you're over too far there. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you got to tilt it
I think
over.
these tilt. These might go on the inside for this, for the Radeon cards. I know that GTX. What am I caught on?
Nothing.
Oh, we're actually
You're pinned in.
slotted in there. Here, and push that down so I can get that back out.
There you go. Okay, so
It doesn't go on the outside.
No, it doesn't.
Stays
It
on the
goes on the
inside.
inside.
All right. So go ahead and mount that down.
okay, but is that wire is still in the way?
Is it gonna be?
I don't know. All right, ready? Well, we're pushing in now. Are you ready for that?
I think you're all the way down.
Am I?
You're seated.
There you go. I'm just not comfortable with how that looks.
Yeah, it's pinched.
So,
What
maybe
other
bring it
way?
up?
But what other way can we go with the wire?
Or you can bring it down through here.
There's no room for it.
What do you mean there's no room for it? Bring it over. Bring it this way. And bring it down.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
All right.
So we gotta pump that graphics card back out.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. And then we're
Yeah, because it
gonna
was just totally pinching that.
unplug that.
And then go.
All right, let's flip it.
There it is. Which one is it? Is it this one?
Yep.
All right.
And we're gonna go on the back side here.
There you go.
All right.
All right. I like that.
I don't want to get wrapped around anything else. Okay.
All right.
So
So
we're
you want
just-
to go back up underneath that then?
No, I think
wanna go right on top of it?
yeah, we'll go under
Underneath
the
those, right?
under the fan
Under the fan
lines,
ones? Right.
and then we'll plug it back in. Oh, something else we did was we screwed in the fans, ran the headers down to that 3 splitter to the front fan. Oh, I gotta plug this. This is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, but I think it looks better that way
Oh yeah,
for your cable management, and then you're also not worried about pinching that.
oh yeah. That was a. I don't think it was fitting good enough because it was hitting that wire. So
Right.
good call. That looks good.
Yeah.
A nice straight line.
Yeah, I like it. I like
Now we're gonna do the graphics card.
it. All right. So let's try this again.
I think I knocked the screws
You lost the screws?
I knocked them somewhere, I think.
All right. There you go. Good screws. That went in a lot better.
There's one. I did knock them.
Okay. Well, there's.
Oh, there's the other one.
right
There we go. All right. We'll put some screws in. Like I was telling Ben, this isn't the newest generation graphics card from AMD, but their last generation, and it was one tier down from the best that they had at that time. It's the RX 570.
Does this one go like this? Is it because that's the split ones, right?
Yeah, this
So you
side
wanna go-
goes. Yeah,
that should
because
go to the.
definitely
that
goes
should
to
go
the power unit.
supply. Okay.
And the higher end graphics card uses a 4-pin, so these modular power supplies have these pins that actually attach for 4 pins, but we're only using the 3. And we could cut these off. I have an extra one of these, don't we?
No, you don't. Actually,
I thought I had one more of these.
you said you did, but I haven't seen it yet.
All right, I'm a liar. There it is right there.
Okay.
Do have an extra
I guess
one.
you were right.
I am going to cut this
Why do you
off
wanna
just
cut it, though?
to make it look nicer. We don't need it.
You know what? I actually have the same problem with my.
I already cut it. I don't care what you're saying.
My GTX 90. No, and I probably need to cut mine too because it just dangles there and it drives me absolutely nuts. Especially since I have full.
Yeah,
LED
and the way I
lighting.
cut it is it's a little offset there, so these will never make contact. And I think it'll look a lot nicer in this case, especially because the acrylic part where you can see through is going to be right here. So as far as aesthetics go, I think this is gonna work best.
I think I might actually wind up doing that for my own.
Yeah.
I might just wind up cutting it. 'cause
Yeah,
it
the one
drives
that I
me
have on
absolutely nuts.
the one upstairs is it actually has another 8-pin. It's 2 8-pins.
Right.
Mine uses 8-pin, but it has another 8-pin that comes off it. And
I think I wound up just like wrapping it over it, but sometimes it comes loose and it drives me nuts. And the other day it started hitting my lower fan on it underneath the GTX 1080.
Oh.
And it was like only on startup though, and it would like hit it.
I'll show you how I have my second plug tucked away.
Yeah, I really need to because it drives me nuts. All right.
So what are we gonna do? Power
I think
supply?
power supply and then cable management, right?
Cable management, shove everything down on the bottom.
That's not cable management though.
It is to me.
Well, you know what? We always try to make things look nicer because when you have a problem and you're actually trying to look for where the problem is, if it looks neater, it's easier to find that problem.
All right. Oh, the fan header. We got to plug the fan header in.
You do.
Yep. So let's flip this back around. Get this up. It's right here-ish. So we're gonna.
That's just an easy up and down.
I want to make sure I got this flipped. Right way. I gotta find the one that says chassis fan. Right there. Yeah, a little clicker. There we go. Yeah, torch for you guys from Canada who still speak the Queen's English.
Not from Canada.
No, I'm talking about for the guys who are watching are from Canada.
Oh. I've always called it a torch.
Yeah, it's kind of thick. I didn't.
I would leave it up a little bit actually.
Yeah, I think that looks good
it
like
looks
that.
good when it's sitting up there a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so we're ready to flip
Like that.
this, put the power supply in,
Okay.
and figuring out what you're going to do
All
with
right.
this conglomeration of wires.
I'm gonna make sure orientation is gonna be like that. So let's start plugging stuff in. Which one is this? This is PSU.
Well, hold on. Before
Or
you
this
start
is-
plugging that in, why don't you unwrap it from here first? Like go underneath, so we can tuck that stuff in. So you have a clear field of view. There you
All
go.
right. So this power supply doesn't have one
One more.
specifically labeled for PSU. What's up, sweetie? I am. You want to say hi?
Hello.
You gotta get up in there. Put your face right there.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by. 2.6 PCI. Oh, that one's the CPU.
There you go.
Okay. So let's do.
Well, then you only have these two.
What is this?
I don't know.
Oh, These are together because these are actually separated on this, which is something I've never seen before. The 24-pin connector is usually completely connected. You know what? Hold this right here. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Bring this up just a little bit. There we go. So everybody at home can see. Yeah, I use the 24-pin connectors all connected here, and on this one it's actually split, but no big deal. We're gonna plug her in. That's how I knew which end went to the motherboard, because the other end is solid,
Oh, okay.
like it normally is here. And then we have the SATA cable for power. No, this is the graphics card. But the other should be a small one. Didn't we connect a power cable? The SATA cable?
No, it's this one. It's the one
Oh, we
you're
didn't plug
gonna
that in
use,
yet. All right. This is for the power for the hard drive.
Because you said you only needed 2, but you had 4.
Yep. All right. So this is gonna, yep, that's gonna stay orientated that way. And we'll get those screws in. And these are kind of small, so.
Isn't there 6 of them now?
No, there's 4.
There's only 4? Really?
Yeah, but there's a spot for 6.
Oh, okay.
I guess if, you know, the big reason that people make these ITX systems is to make them mobile so they could do LAN parties. That's the wrong hole.
That's
That's what she said.
You know
I
what?
guess people
Your video,
take
I wasn't going to say that, but
people take their computers to go hook up to like with a Cat6 cable to a bunch of other computers, and they play games together
Okay.
in one location, so they don't have to worry about latency in the network.
okay. So I was actually thinking about building a similar computer to this so that I can just take with me when I travel so that I can keep doing what it is that I do.
Well, after this, I think we'll both have enough experience in doing so.
Yeah, but I can't really afford to build another computer. She's
Oh.
already going to kill me for building too many computers. So the problem is I started out with an $800 computer, and I have, my son and I were talking about this the other day, that I have upgraded every single component in my computer, and I have like quadrupled the cost of that computer in less than a year. How did you do that?
Wrong screws, or I stripped it out.
Oh, well,
It's wrong screws. It's
okay. It's the
but
bigger
it's
ones.
these right here.
What, the round ones?
Yeah, round head.
Okay. So there are 6 of them.
I can't even get this one out.
Did you gall it?
No,
Okay.
it is.
Okay, I'm confused. There's way more than 6 screws.
I could tell as I was driving that first one that it probably wasn't the right screw. It didn't feel like it was biting into it.
But you still did the second one anyways?
I could be sure.
Okay, well.
Yep, that's definitely it. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
the same. So that's completely different than the screw you just used.
That one bit in.
Yeah, but it's different. Like that actually has a washer underneath it. You see? How that one doesn't have a washer underneath it?
All right, like I was saying earlier, Legos almost.
Try to get this.
Oh, that one bit in. I see what you're saying now. I didn't. You brought that over here.
I just put all the screws. You were.
Yeah,
it was
just
your
give me
job
all
to
the
pick.
screws. Just get. Okay. 2, 3, 4 for the bracket. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for the PSU. And it does have 1, 2 other spots for other screws. So
Yeah, but those screws actually don't connect to anything.
looks like extra support. We'll
No,
just
they
drive
don't
some.
actually connect to anything.
Let's put some. Oh, I see. These are fine thread,
Right, but they don't
and
connect
it's
to
coarse
anything.
thread. We got any more coarse thread ones?
No. So what I'm telling you is, if you look
Yeah.
at the back of it,
Yeah, they don't do anything.
they don't do that. Absolutely anything.
I gotcha.
Okay.
All right, let's hook up this hard drive.
So I'm
Since we're
guessing it's from like a larger power supply, maybe, where the screws would be in a different orientation.
yeah, the regular ATX ones. All right, so we'll just use the very end of the. Whoa! Look how close that gets to not working,
Right.
but it fits. And then we have the SATA cable we got to connect, which should,
Go underneath it.
yeah, we're gonna have to do some wire management on this one.
Well, no, just go underneath all the wires that you
Yeah.
have. There you go.
It's 6 inches longer than I thought it'd be. That's what she said.
I'm sure that she has never said that.
Nope. So it'd be nice if we had another one of these. Are there ones with?
Well, so that's what I was. Again,
Yeah.
remember I was talking to you about a flat one.
Yeah, we have this
That's
one.
what you need.
All right, let's swap it
That's
out.
what you need for that. And I was asking you that.
But
earlier.
I don't. I'm not going to see this part.
It's not seeing it. It's the fact that it won't fit over the.
Would it be nice if it had right angles on both ends?
Oh, and it doesn't.
Yeah, the
Is
other
that
end.
The right angle goes here, though?
But we put it there, and the way the motherboard, it comes out of the motherboard. I think a right angle looks way better than.
I agree with you. It does look better. However, you're not going to be able to put that cover on the way it is right now.
Yeah. All right. So, which
this
one
is
do you
covered
think
in
will
the
look better? This one or this one? Probably this one.
Well, I think that would look better.
Oh yeah. Let's do this one. With the right angle.
Correct.
And
how I
then we're
would
going to
put it.
follow the same path as this one. This is going to face up a little bit. It won't look as pretty as having a right angle on the other end here, but
It'll be more manageable.
it's going to work. Yeah. It's really weird is the, I mean, you can hook a lot of SATA cables up to this. It's just the location. I mean, you have two right here. The location for the other two is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's completely off to the other side.
I can't remember now where they were. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, to the other side.
Yeah, down here. Kind of weird. We're all wired up.
Can you flip that for a second? So, that. Okay.
As far as wire management goes, this is the best it gets for me. The top looks very neat. I think we could pull them a little bit away from the fan.
You can. And you do actually have zip ties that you can use to pull them down onto.
Yeah, but I think for me that looks pretty good.
Okay.
And all this mess, I don't care
It's
about.
actually not a mess. It's very well managed. It's,
You ready to power this
controlled-
up?
It's controlled chaos. I think.
All right, I'm gonna get the monitor, keyboard, and Wi-Fi hooked up. I'll have to turn this on and see what happens. I'm a little nervous about the boot. But first thing we're gonna do is go into BIOS, update the BIOS off the thumb drive. This is not a tutorial, so if you don't know what you're doing, don't follow anything that we're doing. We hit that power button. I'm gonna hit that reset button. I think we got those buttons backwards. I'm just gonna keep hitting delete. Is the monitor on? Is this plugged in?
Your monitor's not plugged in.
Yeah, can we plug the monitor in while I'm hitting delete here?
Okay.
Thanks. This weird thing is like for it to turn on, you have to have it plugged in. I screwed that up. Ben's fixing it.
There you go.
I'm just trying to get into BIOS. All right, there goes the monitor. It's a really nice monitor. It's 144 refresh rate. How's that airflow feel?
Your exhaust fan is good.
And you got to remember the case isn't on yet,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a lot better.
I'm really digging these lights on top, though.
Oh yeah.
Pretty psychedelic.
Can you see that in the camera?
No, let's
The case? Kinda.
barely.
All right, we'll get some other shots of it.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, look at that! New CPU installed. We're gonna center up F1. We're gonna get things going, and I could on the BIOS here set up overclocking because I know what this CPU likes. I got this The CPU running pretty stable at 4.3 gigahertz. Scored a 2012 in Cinebench, no big deal. But what I want to do is go to Tools to update the BIOS. And we're going to do this before we actually fire up the computer. It's going to be a minute. I can't remember what size which one it is. Why does it have 4? Oh, I guess that does make sense. It's not this one, it's this one. Oh, it has a file right here. It's kind of a different BIOS than my other computer, and it's way better than the BIOS that was on the old computer.
Of doing the BIOS?
The BIOS?
Right.
That is the memory that's saved on the motherboard. The motherboard operating system. It tells it what to do. Because I'm putting a CPU I've never ran on this motherboard. I want to make sure that the most updated BIOS are able to handle this CPU. The original plan was to put the new Ryzen 9. It had to have this BIOS update to run that new processor. The BIOS would not, or the computer wouldn't recognize this new processor without the new BIOS update.
Okay.
But it's just good to update it regardless. All right, so did a few bench tests, and everything is looking very good. The max temperature that the CPU hit was 64
degrees
on the bench test. So the fan speeds are working great. We did turn up the case fans a little bit because we couldn't even feel any air flowing out of it, even out of the sides. The only thing we could feel airflow out of was the GPU right here, because it blows in one direction. So I just want to tilt this up, make sure this is in the frame.
Absolutely.
So this is what the top of the case looks like. You can see that beautiful Wraith Prism cooler that's provided by ADM with their high-end processor. You gonna zoom in on that?
I am.
Oh yeah, get it.
I
Let's do a slow-mo video of that, huh?
Huh?
Do it in slow-mo?
I don't know how to do it in slow-mo.
Yeah, it's kind of a process. So there are some other minor LEDs down there that are in the motherboard. The M.2 slot cooler does not light up like I thought it did. I'm not sure what those... Who's she kicking up? What was that?
I don't know. That red light just came on over here.
It's the 8 hard drive.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't light up like I thought it did. We got some good airflow from these Noctua coolers. There's just a tiny bit of airflow coming out of this one side.
Well, this side would be air intake, though.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because of the GPU.
Right.
I think it looks great. It's going to look great in the desk over there. It's a lot smaller than the old system. I got to get all this cleaned up. I think this is going to be the end of the video.
Awesome. That was fun.
It worked. First try.
First try and it worked, right?
Nothing failed.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. It never happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you thought, what I could do better. And Ben, thank you for coming over and drinking all my beer and my tequila.
It was fun.
And building a computer. And I think we're going to have another project video coming up soon with the full cutting board project. I know you've seen one of my videos before where I did the anti-wife cutting board. I don't remember what I called it.
Pretty much what you called it. My wife can't break this cutting board.
And she hasn't broke one, for the record. So we're going to make him one too. They're super simple, and I think it'll be a good woodworking project to do with a friend.
Absolutely.
So,
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.